What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today's video, I did want to jump back on Need for Speed Payback because I wanted to start the video off with a question that I would almost say everybody probably has a mixed opinion on. Now, I do actually want to know what you guys think about this in the comments below. Do you think Need for Speed Payback was the worst Need for Speed game ever? Now, the reason why I did want to ask that, though, is I feel like this game back in the day when it did come out, which I think was like 2016? Or 2017, I think it was. I really don't know the date on that. Might want to Google it because Google has all the answers and I don't think about that very much. But the reason why I did want to ask that though is I do remember when this game came out, a lot of players didn't like it. And I'm actually going to get into one of the biggest reasons why people didn't like the game when I head back over to the Mr. Tune-Up shop over here, which is probably going to be the biggest reason why. I did also want to do a race here fast in the lovely Pagani. I love this thing. Can we also agree that the BC is just going to be gorgeous? I would love to have this car in Motorfest, but I don't think it's going to happen because we have the off-brand version of it, a bait crate. Yeah, I'm good, bro. Actually, what does that even do? I think that's with the police, right? I don't know. I do understand the game wasn't perfect. Let's be honest. Which games are actually perfect now? Probably going to be a pretty low number if you ask me. That was nice driving there, bud. But I do feel like a lot of players might actually want to jump on to Payback or even jump back on and go, okay, let's go play the old Need for Speed. That's now like, what, like 7 years old, 6.5 years old, something like that. I'm also going to jump into this race here. But here's what I did want to mention, though. I do feel like Payback obviously wasn't the best racing game ever. Like, we can all agree most racing games nowadays, or I guess even most of the games nowadays, are probably releasing with too many issues or most likely not even finished. Where you jump on the game and you're like, yeah, this probably needed like a lot more time in development. I don't even know why I'm even playing the game right now. Maybe in 1 year they might get it fixed, and then boom, we're going to enjoy it. But everyone by then has basically moved on, so you're probably playing it by yourself. Or if the game is basically focused online, there's not going to be a way to do anything on it. Luckily, Need for Speed, for the most part, is going to be pretty much single player all the way around. We do know Need for Speed 2015 is online only, which is kind of odd. Hopefully that game never closes, guys, but I would say it's a possibility in the future. Now, one thing I did want to mention about this, though, is I really don't think Payback was the worst Need for Speed ever. Hear me out for a second, because I know people are going to be like, well, wait a second, Block, do you know about this or that? Or wait a second, what about the lovely card system? I'll get into that in a second. But the reason why I do say that, though, is I did not mind this game. In fact, I actually played this game more than pretty much any of the other recent Need for Speed games I've played, like, pretty much in the past. Besides something like Most Wanted 2012, and also one of my personal favorite Need for Speeds ever, Hot Pursuit, and also like the remaster one that came out on PlayStation and all that. But I just feel like, guys, it isn't going to be the worst game ever. Like, sure, it did have some flaws to it. I'm going to be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of the map in this game. Let me know your thoughts on that. Like, did you like it? I do know, once again, it's obviously going to be based on something like Las Vegas, because you're basically in a desert. Don't worry, it's not Dubai. That would be kind of insane, though. Now, one of the reasons why I did want to talk about the map, though, is I feel like a lot of people liked it, but also it was very mixed. Like, a lot of players didn't like it, whether that was like the overall design of the map or the coloring of it maybe being a bit too dull. Which I do understand, like, it is going to be a desert. Like, what do you want? Like, crazy, like, coloring around the map? Or you think it's going to be, like, the same coloring as, like, Motorfest, like, Hawaii or something like that? So I do understand that the map isn't going to be perfect in, like, the coloring aspect of it. I do know a lot of players probably wanted, like, more winding roads and stuff, which, surprisingly, this game had a lot of those. And the funny part is, though, if you are looking at this map, you're probably like, well, wait a second, the entire map is going to be based on a desert, so it's probably going to have way too many highways. The roads aren't that fun. Have to admit, though, guys, a lot of the roads in this game are actually pretty dang fun for the most part. Yes, there's obviously big open highways with nothing, which I would say makes a lot of sense. Dang, Jesse, chill, bro. I'm trying here. I am not a good driver in this Pagani. Was this my go-to car in the game? No, it wasn't. But I did like it because I'm a fan of Pagani, so I was like, well, let me drive it, even though I can't drive it. I'm going to pass all these dudes now. But one of the big reasons why I do feel like a lot of players are not liking Forza and stuff like that, at least the fifth one, from a lot of the things I have seen, apparently the map is too open. People want more roads that they can't drift on, or, you know, just different areas instead of being like a gigantic desert. So I do understand having a mix of different roads or like a city part of it in different areas you can drive around in to really mix up like that overall variety of the said game. That way you can have fun with it, or, you know, probably drive different cars in different settings and stuff like that. But if you're just based on like a regular desert, driving on highways doing 250 miles an hour, that is probably not going to be the funnest thing you can possibly be doing in a racing game. Like, don't get me wrong, guys, constantly driving in a desert like on a highway 24/7 would probably not be that entertaining. Now, funnily enough, guys, I would say this is probably the biggest thing about Payback, like pretty much the biggest reason why players didn't like the game. That is the speed cards. I really can't blame you here, so you'd obviously do an event. I don't think I showed this in the 2024 video of jumping back in Payback, but you would complete an event. It goes, pick your card, bro, like any of them. So you'd obviously pick one here, like the one on the right. It would spin, give you something like acceleration, nitrous, all that good stuff. But normally they're honestly pretty awful. And then on top of that, though, we also have the tune-up shop here, which you can head over to the location, go in there and go, okay, let me re-roll some of my regular speed cards, or you might actually get really lucky and get a decent one that's in the actual inventory. But before I jump into that, guys, there's one more thing here, which is the shipments. Now, if you are wondering, I do believe this actually works on leveling up the regular rep level that you see on the top right of the screen there. Not sure how much it was. I thought it was like a million. Could be wrong, not 100%, but you can grind races out, level it up. Every time you level that up, you'll then get one of these shipments. Funnily enough, I have two of them. That's also why I have so many maxed out cars. So let's open one. So I got 4 tokens there. I got the blue thing. I don't even need the blue wave there, underglow, and then $5,000 on that, so you can get pretty lucky on it. But here is the biggest issue with the shipments. Now, a lot of players probably look at this and go, well, wait a second, Block, like you open that up, you might get kind of lucky, get a lot of tokens, get some cool smokes and stuff, you can make some extra money from it, which, by the way, you actually can collect all 3 of them if you want them. The biggest thing I actually liked about the base shipments is, yeah, you have to level up like the main rep thing, like obviously I'm 50, so you get the million XP or whatever it is. You get another base shipment there, then you can open them. You can also stack the tokens, which in return can also get you more speed cars. So it's not awful. Like, you could probably get some good speed cars, but you have to play a lot and also get lucky, trying to get like the right builds and stuff like that. But we also have the premium shipments, which as far as I know, you can't even get them in the game unless you buy them. Now, I could be wrong on that. Like, I don't think you can actually get the premium shipments because I do know, like, leveling up the rep thing or getting around that 1 million plus XP, you only get the base ones. At least I have noticed that anyway. And then, of course, after that, if you do want the premium ones, they have more items in them. You obviously have to pay money for those. So I do understand a lot of players aren't the biggest fan of this. Like, don't get me wrong, guys. I do understand trying to make money on the game and also keep the game alive. Also trying to add more stuff to it and more updates and stuff, which would be great if we actually got more updates. But a lot of people are going to be like, why would I add $12 for something like that when I can just go level up different times? Even though it is going to take a while to keep playing the game and also like doing a ton of races, getting the rep, and then leveling up, trying to get more of these unlocked, and then going after more tokens to use them on speed cards to hope to get RNG on a speed card that you actually want on your vehicle. So jumping right into this right now, guys, I did want to show this here because I would say right now, the speed card thing is probably the biggest thing about Payback that nobody, including myself, liked at all whatsoever. I also do not know when I actually talked to somebody that did actually like this, so that is probably going to be a pretty big thing here. But there is going to be like a resetting thing here, so you can buy some of them. You can also get some of these and then buy them, and then it will reset around like 10 minutes or like whatever that cooldown is. And then you might actually get lucky, like for example, these have 2 there. Ooh, look at this one. So that one's actually got 2. Let's buy that here. Might as well put that in there for $24,000 so it goes into your inventory, and then it could reset. You can get another lucky chance on getting some of them. So I wouldn't say it's going to be awful. Like, you could get pretty lucky on some of the actual speed cards, but let's be honest, guys, a lot of players are not the biggest fans of this stuff. I don't really blame you on it. A lot of these are kind of frustrating. Like, sure, you can actually do this and go after a good build on your vehicle, but most of it is going to be based on an RNG aspect. So you obviously want like brakes, acceleration, nitrous, or speed, and all that good stuff on most of the builds. You can also have 2 or 3 on them. You also can get a ×3 bonus on the actual cards by having like the outlaw one or like the green one. What are the names of these? Go over to brand. Okay, so we have Next Tech, Chidori, Carbon, Outlaw, and stuff like that, Americana, all that good stuff. So you can get different ones. You also get a bonus on them if you have more than 3 of them, or if you have like a 3 times bonus or whatever for them. And what's funny though about this is you can actually get a bonus having like 3 or even 6 of the exact same ones on there. So for example, I actually should probably hit the help button down here to show this a bit more. Let's hit the bottom. So here it is, guys, the brand bonuses. Match 3 or 6 brands for the brand bonuses. You can get nitrous and air, speed and nitrous. So if you actually get a few of them, like matching 3, you get a said bonus on the actual one. So for me right now, I am currently running the Outlaw, which is speed and nitrous. Now, one thing I have to be honest here, though, guys, like the entire concept of getting like an extra bonus by going after like 3 of the exact same cards and doing like a different 3 of the exact same cards, you then have different bonuses to help you in certain places in the game, which I think is dope. The issue with this, though, is probably going to come down to the RNG aspect of actually getting that stuff done. And I would almost guarantee most players are like, you know what? There is no way I'm actually going to do a lottery system to go after the said cards I'm looking for to get a bonus on them, or at least go after like a said build that I actually want. For example, right here, guys, I obviously could get a better block and a better nitrous par on the Wyra. So let's go into the trading thing and see if I can actually get one. So head over to the block here. Let's hit that right now, so let's see what it does. So it's obviously a lottery system. If you're looking for like Outlaw or like Americana, it's obviously random. I got Outlaw there, which is cool. I got Nitrous, so I did actually get a good one. What in the world is that RNG? So I obviously brought up my acceleration a bit more, brought my top speed down by 1 mile an hour, so let's equip that there. That is honestly pretty dope. Also, 0 to 60 in 2.10 seconds in a wire, that is ridiculous, bro. Oops, I hit the wrong button. I am sorry about that. Going back in, though, we also need an exhaust here, so I'll do a quick example on that one, which I have on nitrous. I actually should probably try to get a nitrous and a speed one there, like the regular one for like nitrous and acceleration, because I kind of need more nitrous, so let's go back into trade-in. I obviously need the regular Outlaw there, and it has to be an exhaust, so let's go over here. Now, you could get lucky on that and try to get like a regular Outlaw, guys, but again, it's incredibly random. Let's hit an exhaust right now to show you guys this if you haven't played the game in a minute. Let's see if I can get lucky. Probably not going to get what I need there. Okay, so I got Americana and jump. So here's a good example. What in the world am I going to do with jump on a hypercar, bro? Where am I going to be jumping? Jumping off the road into a guardrail, jumping into a tree. Let me get some more airtime jumping into a tree. That's what I need. So that's actually not a bad one, so I will send that to the garage. So let's do another one here. And that's the other issue, though. So you obviously can only use 3 of the tokens every time. So if you have a bunch of them, not going to lie here, guys, I actually think I grinded all the way to like 100 of them. Don't make fun of me on that one. So I got brakes. That only came with 1. Again, basically useless. Let's trade that one in here. Let's go do it one more time to see if I can actually get it. But you guys are probably seeing the issue with this. So yes, you can grind a lot of events out and get rep. You'll obviously be able to get more tokens doing that. But here's the issue. You're then going to have to deal with an entire RNG lottery type of system in the game. Which, to be honest, guys, for me, this is the worst part about Unbound. Like, this game was actually great. I feel like it probably had a lot of potential. They could have did a lot with it. But my goodness, though, that card system for me basically ruined the game in every way. Like, to be honest, though, guys, the biggest issue I find with this is probably going to come down to the fact that you jump on Payback, you're like, wait a minute, this game's actually pretty dope. For example, guys, I actually like the campaign in the game. Let me know your thoughts on that. Did you like the single-player campaign in this game? I think it was actually kind of dope. I did like it compared to something like the newer Need for Speed games. Unbound was kind of cringy, and then, my goodness, Heat was so dang short. Stay tuned for video on that one. But one of the biggest things with this, though, is yes, the campaign was great. You jump in, you're like, man, this game is dope. You look at it, and you're like, okay, I have to get some speed cards. How bad can it be? Well, turns out you actually have to go grind a lot of events to get reputation to buy or at least get more tokens. And then that will actually in return allow you to get more of these speed cards unlocked. You can also get the speed cards from the end of the events. Normally you get 1. That's all you actually get. You trade that in. You get 1 token. And then once you actually have a bunch of tokens, let's say you have like 50 or 60 of them, you then have to do the next thing. You have to go try to get RNG based on getting a said build you actually want. Which we all do know playing a lottery machine like in GTA isn't going to be the funnest way to get parts. I would almost guarantee, guys, if they actually made the speed card system a lot better, and most likely did not design that around like the entire shipment thing to, you know, target people in a way to actually make them pay for them or to get more of the speed cards, I really do feel like a lot of people would have liked the game, bro. Like, imagine being able to get many of the speed cards from the events, or at least playing that aspect and go, okay, let me go farm some races. Maybe I can get a card from this one. You can actually pick it. You're guaranteed 2 of like the nitrous or acceleration and stuff like that on it. That would probably be a lot better than throwing somebody to the wolves and go, okay, bro, go farm for a bit, go level up that reputation. Every time you do it, you get the said shipment. You get around 4 tokens, you farm those for a bit, and then boom, you can actually hopefully get a few builds you actually want in them, which is all RNG based. Like, not even going to lie here, guys, I understand the way they actually did it, but at the same time, like, come on, man. And you want to know something that's also really frustrating about this? So many of these games have so much potential, and I feel like they just throw it out the window. Like, imagine, guys, for a minute, the entire system being a bit different in this game. We also do know, like, the entire off-roading is pretty dang fun. The actual cars are great. Customization is there because Need for Speed is goated with customization. No issues on that. The car list is pretty dope. They could have added more cars to it over time, or, you know, maybe improve the off-roading so my car doesn't max out at 115 miles an hour. Kind of annoys me a bit, and I do know a lot of players probably don't want to grind and stuff like that, but I would say the grind in Payback wasn't awful. It was due to the fact of going after random cards to try to get a build you actually wanted. From everything I have seen, guys, everybody I have talked to, that is the biggest reason why they most likely think Need for Speed Payback was the worst Need for Speed game ever, was simply that card system. Like, for example, right now, look at this. Let me go draw a card. Okay, let me hit it. Oh, look, that was actually a good one. That's kind of hilarious. So, for example, let's keep this one here. Add that one into the garage. That's actually better than that one. Probably should have got speed and most likely, like, the braking power. Now, I'm not going to lie here, though, guys. That is probably the biggest thing for me. Like, to be honest, I did actually like Payback for the most part. I enjoyed this game. I played it a lot. Probably too much to be real. I probably shouldn't have played it as much as I did. But the thing about that, though, is I was enjoying the initial gameplay. I loved off-roading. I loved the map. I liked exploring. Sure, the map is going to be a desert. Yeah, the coloring might not be all there for a lot of people. But I did like the way the game flowed. The driving was fun. I feel like it was a good Need for Speed game for the most part. But my goodness, though, the biggest thing about this game, in my opinion, that most likely made it the worst Need for Speed ever is 100% going to be that insane card system. It's honestly pretty awful. And I would say anything based fully on RNG like that is not the way to do it. Like, come on, man. People really do want to play the game a lot. They want to grind out, but don't make it a lottery system that you have to grind out, which you're also never guaranteed to get the role you want with all that time you actually put into the game. That is probably not a very good formula. But anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts on Payback in the comments below. Do you guys think right now this was the worst Need for Speed game ever? To be honest, I wouldn't say it's the worst, but that speed card system puts it pretty dang high on that ranking system.